Right now, somewhere on Earth, a human being is crying, and no other animal on the planet is doing what they're doing. Not one. Elephants trumpet in distress, dogs whine. But actual tears, streaming down a face because of an emotion, not an injury, not smoke, not dust in the eye. That's a strictly human behavior. Nothing else alive does it. Which raises an obvious question. If it's this rare, this specific to your species, why does your body do it at all? Start with something almost nobody realizes. Not all tears are the same liquid. Your eyes actually produce 3 biologically distinct types. Basal tears coat your eyes constantly, just to keep them from drying out. You're producing them right now without noticing. Reflex tears flood out when something irritates your eyes directly. An onion, smoke, a gust of wind. And then there's the third kind. Emotional tears, triggered not by your eyes at all, but by your brain. Here's where it gets strange. Emotional tears are chemically different from the other two. Lab comparisons have found measurably different protein concentrations in tears triggered by emotion versus tears triggered by something like onion vapor. Your body isn't just leaking, it's producing a specific substance, on purpose, only when something emotional is happening. So what is crying actually for? For decades, the leading guess was simple stress relief, a way to flush out chemicals your body builds up under emotional pressure. It's a tidy theory, it's also probably incomplete. Here's the stranger possibility. Tears do one very specific, very physical thing no other expression does. They blur your vision. Think about what that means. Every other emotional signal, a clenched fist, a furrowed brow, a raised voice, keeps you fully capable of seeing and reacting to whatever's around you. Crying is the one emotional display that partially disables you while you're doing it. That's not a flaw. It might be the entire point. By blurring your own vision, tears make you visibly vulnerable. You can't track a threat as well while crying, and broadcasting that vulnerability out loud on your own face sends a signal that's expensive to fake. It falls into the same category as a deer's loud snort or a bird's alarm call, a signal that only works because it costs something real to produce. In other words, crying might be your body proving you're not faking it by temporarily making you worse at seeing danger coming right in front of the people you need help from. There's a detail that backs this up. Crying overwhelmingly happens around other people. The vast majority of adult crying episodes happen in the presence of at least one other person, not alone in a locked room. If tears were purely about internal stress relief, being alone should work just as well. The fact that tears show up so disproportionately when someone else is watching suggests crying isn't just release. It's communication. One more piece makes this even stranger. Humans are essentially the only species with visible white sclera surrounding a colored iris, the whites of your eyes. Most other primates have much darker, harder-to-read eyes. That visible white likely evolved specifically to make human eye movements, and by extension emotional states, easier for other humans to read from a distance. Tears sit directly on top of that already highly visible system, on the one part of your body that seems built for being read by others. So the crying face isn't just an expression, it's running on hardware that appears designed across millions of years for exactly this kind of broadcast. None of this means every tear is a calculated social move. Nobody consciously decides to cry to send a signal. The mechanism runs far beneath conscious thought, the same way a blush isn't chosen. But evolution doesn't require intention to select for a behavior. It only requires that the behavior, on average, across enough generations, helped the people who did it survive, bond, and get help when they needed it, which reframes something you've probably felt embarrassed about at some point in your life. That instinct to apologize for crying, to explain it away, to wipe your face and insist you're fine. You're fighting against a signal that took millions of years to build specifically, because it works. The blurred vision, the visible vulnerability, the fact that it almost always happens in front of someone, none of that is a malfunction. It's one of the oldest, most specifically human forms of communication you have, running quietly under everything else, long before you ever had words for what you were feeling.